Packers just got some bizarre news that I will go over and cover in this video. We will also talk about the San Francisco game coming up, so be sure to listen to the video in its entirety and hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into it. What's the bizarre news coming out of Green Bay? Okay, so Jaire Alexander, he's been on and off the field. He had that mystery shoulder injury last season that we didn't quite get clarity on. He missed a significant amount of playing time last season. And now we're just finding out right here that Jaire Alexander could miss more time with a torn PCL. Okay, so the right knee injury, it says right here that cornerback Jaire Alexander has been dealing with over the past 3 weeks. And the one that forced him out of his return last Sunday, only after 10 snaps, could see him sit more time, but the Packers cornerback Jaire doesn't expect to be out for the season. Man, I would hope not. Okay. So let's go on, and I'm going to give you my synopsis of the whole thing. Okay. So it says right here, Jaire told The Athletic on Thursday that he sustained a torn PCL when he hobbled off the field of the final defensive play on October 28th, in their win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. So a torn PCL is kind of a big deal. And it also can be, it must be a minor one. Ian Rappaport reported right away that, hey, this isn't a severe injury, and he might even be back. And there was rumors that he could have been even back as early as that following week against the Detroit Lions. And then he didn't play against the Lions, and then the Packers had the bye week. And then it was like rumored, is he going to be playing against the Bears or not? He comes back against Chicago, only plays 10 snaps. He goes out. But if it's me, why are the Packers, if they were privy to the information, of course, that he had torn PCL, why rush him back against a Chicago team that I think you could have obviously, in that game? I think you could have won that game without Jaire even playing the 10 snaps out there, of course. So simple PCL tears, usually treated with physical therapy and a brace, can take up to a few weeks or a few months to fully recover. Okay, that's just searching Google there. So no doctor or anything like that. But if it's me reading between the lines and with Jaire's history of slowly coming back from an injury, I wouldn't expect to see this dude now with the information that I've heard. Certainly wouldn't expect to see him back this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers, but there's even talks like, oh, it's going to be a game time decision. I certainly wouldn't think this is a game time decision. Jaire is probably going to be out for the next couple 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. They've got San Fran, then Miami, and then they've got Detroit. I'd be shocked if he comes back against Detroit. I'm hopeful that he will be, because he's the best corner we've got, hands down. I wouldn't expect to see him back if it's me, reading between the lines, until the Seattle game. Okay, so let's go on in this report. It says earlier this season, he sat out weeks 4 and 5 games because of a groin and quadricep injury. Since the start of 2021, when he appeared in only 4 regular season games because of that shoulder injury, he has played in only 34 of possible 61 games, which is 56% of the time. Of course, the Packers have got a lot of money wrapped up into Jaire, but not great news coming out of Green Bay, because it's like Jaire needs to be out on the football field because our cornerback and secondary depth is not great. So that means Carrington Valentine is going to be the next guy up, which means we're going to have to be leaning into and relying on Eric Stokes out there, which historically hasn't been the best. Okay, so when we say that, let's just take a look real quick at PFF stats out there. His PFF score, meaning Eric Stokes, is 51.5. Okay, he's been targeted 37 times and he's allowed 25 receptions. Keyshawn Nixon, not much better at 56.8 PFF score, targeted 44 times, allowed 29 receptions. Carrington Valentine is who the Packers will be starting. He would be my vote for sure. I think he's the better of the 3 when it comes to a cornerback. He has an overall PFF score of a 61.3, targeted 8 times, allowed 6 receptions. I do like Carrington Valentine, but it really sucks to hear. And injuries are starting to become the storyline in this San Francisco and Green Bay matchup. So of the 73 meetings between the Niners and the Packers are they have that edge slightly, 38 and 34-1. Okay, so 38 to 34-1. Postseason, San Francisco has a little bit of the edge with a 6-4 record. And their latest, of course, win came last season in the postseason, 24-21. The Packers lost that nail biter. Packers looking to get some revenge, but again, injuries are kind of the storyline in this matchup here. So obviously, Edgerrin Cooper, the Packers are going to be without him with the newest hamstring injuries, which means they're going to have to lean into Eric Wilson, which is great news. Okay, so Eric Wilson is super good, but I'm wanting Eric Wilson to play over Quay Walker. Unfortunately, we're going to have to lean into Quay Walker, obviously, for the entirety of this game and this matchup. But Eric Wilson, you might even see Jamin Davis make an appearance in this one. Former first-round pick sent over by the Commanders. I really like the potential of Jamin Davis, so I wouldn't mind seeing him out there. I don't think it would be worse than what Quay Walker's been outputting onto the football field. Okay, so when we talk injuries and all of that, San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle has a hamstring injury, but he vows to play against the Packers. I really love the fact that this dude is just like, hey, listen, I'm going to be playing on Sunday. I'm very excited. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to play the Packers. So kudos to Kittle for recognizing this is an important game for them, not just for just this matchup against the Packers, but it's for their playoff hopes. So George Kittle, expect to see that dude out there for the Packers. Nick Bosa is one of those guys that I'm not quite sure if we're going to be seeing Nick Bosa out there. I really hope not. He didn't play the fourth quarter of last week's matchup due to some injuries he's been battling, and he hasn't been at practice all week. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Nick Bosa out there. If I were a betting man, I would say Nick Bosa is probably not going to make an appearance this week, which would be great news for Packers. And then there's some kind of surprising news coming out. We know that Purdy has a shoulder injury. But it says right here, Brock Purdy's status uncertain for a huge Packers and Niners game. It says Brock Purdy has been battling a shoulder injury this week and was limited in practice. Purdy started to throw at practice and then stopped to get worked down by a trainer just a few minutes in, which then he was out. So not great news if you are the San Francisco 49ers, but great news if you're the Packers, because they could be without Brock Purdy. But it's one of those matchups where I'm like, man, I kind of want people to play so that we can see and get a good indication and a thermometer read on how good this Packers defense is or how good the Packers offense is. I think the keys to the Packers winning this matchup, absolutely, without a doubt, we talked about it a couple of videos ago, that they need to start translating these red zone appearances into touchdowns. I think that is the key to this game. Not so much stopping McCaffrey. Good luck trying to do that anyways. He is so gifted and talented, and if he's not crushing you or killing you in the running game, he can even do it with his arm in the passing game or even in the reception or in the receiving side of things. So McCaffrey is one of those guys that if your number one goal is to stop that guy, good luck doing it. I think the Packers are going to have more success if they have time of possession and they are translating some of those red zone matchup or red zone appearances into some touchdowns. Protecting the ball, winning the takeaway category, that is going to be the next key factor for the Packers winning this game. I think they absolutely need to turn the corner in the takeaway category, which they've lost the last couple of games. And discipline. The Packers showed a lot of discipline last week against Chicago with few penalties. They won the penalty category, something they aren't used to doing a whole lot this season. It'd be great if they can win the penalty the penalty category as well. That is my take on it. And as always, go Pack Go. Let me know your take. Leave your comments. Go Pack.